Hi, it's Lee from ColouringQueen.net, and today I've got the beautiful Lady Spring colouring book. So I just wanted to show you the packaging on it. I haven't even looked. This is a collaborative colouring book, meaning 6 artists contributed 5 images each. You can see it there up against the size of one of Joanna Bashford's book. So we've got a hardback cover on the book with a partly coloured cover, and it's got some beautiful copper foiling there around the title. Now it's called Lady Spring, and because it celebrates spring, and contributions have been made by 6 different lovely ladies that are all artists and illustrators. The copper foiling is also on the spine of the colouring book. And on the back we've got delightful and romantic, surrounded by plants and animals. She's waiting for you to add some colour. So there we have the beautiful cover. So inside we have a protective paper. Now mine's been signed by the publisher. Yours might not be, depending on where you get it from. This might be a good place to test out your mediums or use it as a palette page or a swatch page. On the title page we've got copper around the title there. And that's not foiled, it is coloured printing. It's foiled on the outside. And inside we've got a foreword in both Polish and in English, where Anya explains the inspiration for the project and how she looks forward to spring every year. And what she did was she contacted the 6 artists last year, and they loved the idea. And they immediately decided that they wanted to be part of the project and created 5 pages each. So we've got Karolina, Izabela, Anna, Krystyna, Nowak, Grazia and Barbara, and each created 5 images to go in this book, all celebrated by lady illustrators or lady artists, celebrating spring and all the gorgeous animals. Now, it was due to be released last May, and all the artists were ready to do that, but unfortunately we all know that the world just wasn't the same last May. So inside we have, in English and in Polish, an author's page for each of the beautiful artists, as well as all of their contact details and coloured pictures of their artwork. So how good's that? So this is from the beautiful Karolina. Nature is Queen. Gorgeous bunny rabbits on that one. Heart of Bloom. Now, I haven't seen these pictures in Karolina's Etsy shop. Now, this one is Rebirth. Isn't that beautiful? And You Gave Me Wings. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I love all of that dark and moody artwork. And look how she's holding a book with this. So there's 80 pages. And as you can see, each illustration is printed on single-sided pages. Here we've got the prophet. So much detail. Look at all those bunnies, 4 bunnies. And they're all beautifully centered on the page. Now the paper is white. And it's a medium quality paper, but it feels actually quite thick, so I'll be interested to see how the pencils go on it. And so we've got Izabela and her information there, together with books that she's published so far. Her first steps. Isn't this lovely? Look at those lovely sneakers. And a very soft grayscale on here. Oh, and isn't this beautiful? Tempting Aromas. A gorgeous little flower fairy. Sweet Whispers. I love how they've all been titled. And again, that gorgeous little ladybird, which seems to be featuring in every page. Lovely Delicacy. And again, the ladybird. Do you call them ladybirds or ladybugs? Spring compositions with 2 ladybirds. Isn't it beautiful the way she puts all this texture on the leaves? It's a very soft grayscale. It's very nice. Now we've got Anna, and I've reviewed this book before, and she has this book coming soon. Tales from Stars. Looks interesting. And again in English and in Polish. So we've got the Japanese Plum. And look at that beautiful black hair. She's done all the hard work for us, so we don't really need to do much on there, which is good. Look at those beautiful highlights. Then we've got the beautiful flowers. I've actually planted some of these bulbs in my garden. I hope they come out. And we've got enough room to do a background there. Plus every picture is really nicely centered and positioned. We've got lovely different coloured line weight and line colour there, making it easy to see. But there's also still room to do a little bit of background if you wanted to. We've got the beautiful tulip here. And this paper is very thick. We've got our gorgeous flower with the cute little fairies. 3 gorgeous little fairies. Or are they pixies or are they elves? I don't know. Maybe they're flower fairies. Actually, we've got 4 fairies. I should put my glasses on. And look at this background that you could do. I like how she's used different coloured black. So this is more black, and then we've got a dull black in the background. And then we've got our primrose. And she's a real master at using those different shades of black with different line thickness to bring everything out. Then we've got Krystyna, and she is such a good colorist as well as an illustrator. And I've reviewed her books previously, I think, except for that one, Slavic Beauties, but I've reviewed her others. She's also got an Etsy shop. Then we've got Innocence and Tenderness with the beautiful bunny rabbit there. Isn't it gorgeous? And again, great border, so it's well away from the ditch. And you might notice that I'm pushing down on the book because the binding is still quite stiff. But bear in mind, I only just unboxed this a minute ago, so it's the first time I've seen these illustrations, and so hopefully the book will loosen up soon. Krystyna does lovely hair. So aren't these beautiful? And plenty of room there to do a background if that's something that you wanted to do. Then we've got Subtlety. She's put that lovely texture in on the hair, And then you're sort of free to do what you want with the line art. And we've got Oncoming. She's got a beautiful face, hasn't she? And Rebirth, which is another beautiful image. They're all gorgeous, aren't they? I love the way she puts all that shading in. And then we've got Grazia. Now Grazia's had quite a lot of colouring books come out, and we've got information on her again in English and in Polish. She also sells her images on Etsy. Oh God, isn't this gorgeous? Alice with a bunny rabbit. That is beautiful. Look how the bunny's got its own matching little headdress. And we've got Nest. Isn't that lovely? Two beautiful little birds. My hair tends to look like a bird's nest from time to time. Hirondo. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that correctly. And Sakura. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at the folds on that kimono. That's really stunning. Rosabelle. Now we've got Barbara, and I've reviewed all of Barbara's books previously. She's a fantastic artist and illustrator. Now, unfortunately, a little mistake crept in on Barbara's author's page here, but the publisher is updating it. But I don't think it's going to matter and decrease your enjoyment at all, because really what it's all about are the gorgeous images. So we've got Children of Spring, gorgeous ladybug. Isn't this beautiful? Look at all that lovely black. So much texture in Barbara's images. They're really beautiful. Now we've got Full Moon. We've got the little hedgehogs, and look at all the gorgeous animals. And Mysterium. So this is beautiful. Look at that caterpillar, and it's on like a little trail. It's very lovely with the woman at the top. Very gorgeous. Enchanted. So we've got the bee, and it's like it's got a flower fairy girlfriend. Isn't that beautiful? How did she think of these ideas? Then we've got Storm, and you can see like the background. I don't know that I've ever seen a colouring page before that's had the lightning in it. I can't remember it, but I like the way she's put the solid black and left room there for you to graduate there. That's really nice. Oh, and look, we've got a test page. How cool's that? That is really lovely. They've put in all little flowers for us to colour. Now they look like 2, 3, 5, 6. It looks like that each artist has contributed the element there, because they tend to look like the artistic style. Like that looks like Karolina. And then we've got our copyright information on the back, and another spare page, and our beautiful back cover. Hi, I just wanted to show you the corrected page for Barbara's bio. There was a little bit of information left out, so this one-page PDF will be available from the link below the video, or if you've already bought the book. And if you're buying the book now, it'll be sent out with those books as a page to go in it. So there was a little bit of information that was missing from Barbara's bio, so that's all been corrected now. Okay, let's test out some mediums on the back page and see how they go with the paper. Now, I've got quite a few here to test out, so if something interests you, just check the description box below the video and you can skip ahead to the one that you're interested in seeing. Now I just went over lightly with the Faber-Castell Polychromos, and on the first round you could tell that there is a faint texture to the paper and there's still a bit of tooth showing, but I colour lightly the first time around. On the second time around you could feel that the pencils were softening up the paper and really pushing down those hills and valleys in the paper, and it felt a lot smoother. I don't really like my colour choices for that one, but it's always my buyer's remorse on choosing colours. Let's try the Holbein. So to me, the Holbeins were a similar experience to the Polychromos, except the light green tended to go on a lot easier, and you can really tell that there is a faint tooth to the paper. And so if you like using lots of layers, then this is ideal for your coloured pencils. So let's try the Prismacolor. Now the Prismacolors feel smoother going on, but as you can see there's a lot of tooth left, and so obviously it would need lots of layers as well, or perhaps pressing a little bit harder, but I think the waxing Prismacolor makes them feel a lot smoother going onto the paper. So the Lyra. Now the Lyra didn't feel like the pigment was going onto the paper evenly when I first tried it, but on the second round it went well, so I think it's definitely one that might need either a firmer pressure or at least 2 rounds. The Irojiten pencils. So the Irojitens felt like that they were producing more colour when I put them down. They're a harder pencil, although they're wax based, and that light green seems to go down really creamy, whereas the darker greens didn't so much, but definitely one that could do with a couple of layers. So the Colleens. The Colleens actually had the nicest sensation going down. They really felt like they were flattening out the tooth of the paper. So I'm just going to run a blender through these because they're all done very quickly, and just see if that smooths out the pigment so that you can see it. I'm going to use my Caran blender, which is my favourite. And that really smoothed out the lines there. There's still a little bit of tooth, but probably because I'm colouring very quickly. And it's really smoothed out the Holbein. And the Prismacolor. I'm just wiping the nib off screen. Probably should wipe it on a tissue, but I'm wiping it on my finger. And it has smoothed out the Lyra. There's still a little bit of sort of pencil mark there. And it's really smoothed out the Irojiten. So far it works really well with most of them, except, you know, the Lyra probably would work better with its own blender, the Splendor blender. Now the Colleen's, it's really smoothed that out, and Colleen pencils don't have a blender, so that one seems to work very well in this book with it. So let's try the Tombow markers. Now these are water-based, so alcohol-based will go through the page, but these are water-based. So you can use them as a marker, or you can add water. And if you put too much water on like I have, you can just dab it off with a tissue or a sponge. So the Tombow, let's see if it went through to the other side. It did not. The other side is perfectly clear. Nothing on there. So the Inktense pencils. So go on really well. As long as you don't add too much water with Inktense, they're usually fine. And now lastly, the Zig Clean Brush. These are also markers and they're water-based. And so they've gone on really easily as well. So I'll just zoom you in so that you can see. And over on the reverse, now you can see a couple of little indents here from the Tombow, but it's not dry and it's not watercolor paper either. So if you do use a lot of water, it will buckle up. But there's only one little indent and there's no ghosting or shadowing. So all of the products I used went really well, even if they didn't lay down well in the beginning. Once I ran that blender over it from Caran, they all blended out and I was doing it really quickly. Obviously it'd look smoother if you're taking your time with it. And all of the water-based products that I used worked really well. The Tombow marker, I did put too much water down on there and it has just left a little like a indent on the page here, but it's not dry. And if you're not using the reverse because there's no images on it, it shouldn't affect your work at all. But always, if it's not watercolor paper, you always have to be careful with how much water you add. So that's why these pages are really good to test out your mediums on. I just want to show you how the page dried from using the wet media the other day as well. So you can see it all dried really well. I put a lot of water on that Tombow one. And over on the reverse of the page, there is not any marks, no ghosting, no bleed through, and no lumps or bumps or buckling of the page. So I just wanted to show you what it looked like when it had been dried for a day. So I hope that saved you a bit of time. Until next time, stay safe and happy colouring.